So I got a question for both you guys then, because, all of this is coming back to coaching to me. How much better of a coach is Bronco Mendenhall compared to Manny Diaz?
1,000 times. 1,000 times better.
Head and shoulders above?
Dude, Bronco Mendenhall won his division. What has Manny done?
Good point.
Like we talked about this a little bit after we went off air last week, Ross. Okay, so I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. I still live here, born and raised. Okay, so I watched Broncos BYU teams up close and personal. Okay, like those BYU teams would trot out a bunch of balding white dudes. Okay, and they were winning 10 games a year. And they were playing TCU and Utah and Boise State, okay? And they would win 10 games a year. They beat Sam Bradford in Oklahoma under Bronco, okay? And, dude, think about the talent BYU's getting. Those kids have, like, a very strict religious honor code, okay? If they break the rules, they get kicked out of school, And it's more strict rules than any coach would have to deal with, okay? So, like, I was saying this last week, that there was a huge coaching mismatch. There would be a huge difference in preparation and discipline, okay? And we saw it. This is one of Bronco's worst teams that he's had since he's been at Virginia. I don't know what else to say, but they were prepared. We weren't. They put their guys in a position to win. We didn't, okay? They are a lot less talented than we are, and they outplayed us for 4 quarters.
But the worst part about it is that when you feel like, because I'm gonna go off a little bit on a tirade here, because I saw something on Twitter. Some players were saying, pack the stands and then you can complain. Let me tell you, some of these fans, I'll say a good majority of them, care more about the university than the administration does. Then I would say even some of the players. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because you see it on the sideline, some of these guys are lifeless. And what Jordan said is true. You take on the character of your head coach. Manny's like a mummy. It's like a zombie, if we're being honest with you. Where is that passion, that fire that he had when he was a DC? You don't see it anymore. The guy's like stone cold, doesn't do anything. The most emotion I've seen him had was when we got bombed on that 90-yard touchdown against Bama. And he was screaming because he was angry about the no holding call, it's a shame what this university is right now, what it's turned into. It makes you feel like, are we ever going to get back there? You feel me? I'm 23 years old. You know what the best I've seen of Miami is beating Notre Dame. That's the best I've seen. And it's a shame because, that was nothing because we ended up losing.
Yep.
The Orange Bowl.
I'm 28. That's the best I've seen, man. I got a 5-year head start on you, and I haven't seen anything better. So, the problems are very old.
I had a chance to actually see Miami football in its heyday. I'm 38 years old, guys. I'm the old guy right now. I got to see Miami dominate. I got to see them bully and slap other teams around. And the teams that I grew up rooting for at Miami would have slapped this Virginia team in the face. They would have pointed at them, and they would have made fun of them. Seriously. They would have never been on that field with us. They would have never competed for 4 quarters with us. This was a bad to mediocre team at all levels, and they beat us at home today.
But then again, we shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised because the past, if you think about it, ever since Manny's been the head coach, we're in dogfights with Virginia. Every single game we've gone against them has been a dogfight and could have gone either way. This time it just, honestly, we deserve to lose this game. If I'm gonna be real about it, we didn't play with the right amount of passion and effort, and just like these guys aren't at our level. Let's stomp on their neck, and impose our will, and we didn't do that. And it's just when you play around with your food, this is what happens. Yep. A better team doesn't do that. A well-coached team doesn't do stuff that we've been seeing for the past 3 years. It's the same old stuff, and it's a shame.
So I want to touch on your point of us not deserving this win. I'll probably take a lot of heat for this, and I don't care. I almost didn't want to win for exactly what you said, because I do not trust this program as an institution, right? Because if we squeak out a win tonight when we don't deserve it, okay, we play down to an opponent that has no business competing with us, okay? It's a poorly coached game, poor execution, poor preparedness. We have no business. If we win on a last-second field goal, how do you think our administration would brand this? How do you think the marketing would go? It would be a vote of confidence for Manny Diaz. See, Manny has what it takes to get it done late in games. No, he doesn't. We've seen it time and time again. How many times has Manny Diaz beat a team with a winning record?
Barely. It doesn't happen, especially if they're out of our conference.
Yeah. I don't know.
What? So here's the thing: is we have to have a direction, though. You know, we have to be able to right the ship somehow, or it just goes down even more. Is there any way to right this ship, or are we on a crash course headed straight down nosediving?
I'm gonna be as fully transparent as I can be, and I mean, Ross, we've been talking about it a lot. I still had a little bit of hope that, you know, maybe in conference play we would wake up a little bit, and maybe you know, I guess I was hoping against Logic that things might get better. But I mean, this game for me sealed it. You know, like I don't see how you can overcome this. This was Manny's last chance, and he blew it. And in my mind, I think we're just gonna snowball, and not in a positive way.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. But I mean, look at how we've been after bye weeks under Manny Diaz. You feel me? You trust this guy with 2 weeks to prepare for Sam Howell? Oh man. I just think at this point, you know, the administration, I don't trust them to do it. But if they had any type of backbone, they would fire this guy. They will fire this guy and say, you know what? We need a monumental change in this program. Because if we continue what we're doing, we're just running around in circles. We're spinning the wheel like a hamster. Yeah. You're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something, you know, different to happen. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. Once you take football serious, maybe things will improve. But if you're not going to take it serious, then we're just going to be the same old team. And that's not good enough.
Yeah. I tend to agree with the snowballing assessment. There is such a rotten culture at the University of Miami football program that goes back 15 years. Just look back through our wins and losses, our schedules over the last 15 years. There's not many seasons where you won't see a 3-game skid.
Yeah.
The wheels come off. When the wheels come off in our locker room, they really come off. Yep. You know, there's no saving the season at this point, honestly. Like, because you're right, we're going to play the probable number 1 pick, perhaps, right? I don't know if he's still there on mock drafts. He was at one point, right? But Sam Howell, legit NFL QB prospect, okay? There's no way that our defense is going to hold him to anything, okay? Like, the wheels are going to come off, man. It's going to get ugly from here. I really have a hard time. I think we're going to finish around 500, maybe a game better.
Wow.
That's being nice in my opinion. I could see worse than that. You see the rest of that schedule? It could get worse than that.
We can lose these next 3 games easily, guys. That's the problem with what we saw with the UVA game and how we went up against them and our weaknesses and some of our minor strengths we have, but mostly our weaknesses. All these next teams we're going to play can actually take advantage of them more than Virginia could. So these guys we're going to play actually could hit us in the gut even harder.
Yep. So sorry, I'm talking a lot, but Travis West just commented, anytime your punter is the best player on the team, it's an issue. Okay, I want to ask you guys a question. Hold on. He's been here for 3 years, okay? How many years or how many players have been better than him that we developed, that we recruited and developed in program?
That's a good question.
Because every player that's been better than Lou Headley on this team in the last 3 years has been a transfer.
You know, Rousseau took off, and probably the smartest thing he could have done was take off as early as he possibly could, because I think he saw the longer you stay in Manny Diaz's system, the worse you
He
look.
said, "I'm out." He said, "I'm out of here."
But I mean, Rousseau's a good answer. Brevin Jordan could be a decent answer. I'd accept
I
that.
would have said DJ Dallas. I would have said DJ Dallas.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, it's not a very long list of guys that have been better than Lou Headley for our football team, more effective, more impactful, that were developed by our coaching staff. That is so horrible. So horrible. Okay, think about it, because true freshmen, I don't consider them being developed by our staff yet, right? Call me in 2 years, okay? Look at our team. The guys that we're all pissed off for underperforming are guys that have been in this system for a long time, okay? The guys that are making plays are raw. They're coming in and they're letting their God-given ability shine through.
There's a comment here that I want to make sure we touch on, guys. Remember, this UVA offense didn't have one of their best weapons. Their tight end Woods wasn't even in the game. Imagine what he could have done to us, being a physical presence over the middle and us not wrapping up. I mean, just imagine.
He would have body bagged Gervin Hall. And let me tell you, Manny Diaz, the fact that it makes my head hurt to watch that guy play football, man. It's like that I couldn't imagine watching his film over after the game. I don't even know how you continue to play a guy like him oh man. And look, let me tell you, people want to say, Cam Kitchens dropped a pick. Well, at least he had a chance to get a pick. Gervin Hall slipping and sliding all over the place. He don't know what to do. I can remember there was a 3rd and 6 in the third quarter, and almost everyone was in the right position. And guess who wasn't? Gervin Hall. Let the receiver go right past him. 20-yard pickup. You just got to do your job, Papa. How hard is it? Honestly, how hard is it to play safety at Miami if we being real about it?
He's regressed, though. Like 2 years ago, we were talking about him as an asset.
Yeah. That's how quick it happens in Manny Diaz's defense, though. That one extra year you might choose to stay might be your downfall. Sadly, I hate to say that, because, of course, I want guys to come back to Miami. I want us to have our veteran presences and stuff like that. But if your veterans are your worst players, then it means nothing at all. And one point I want to touch on here, too, while we're talking about this, what the hell took so long to get Leonard Taylor on the field? He clearly can play football at the FBS level. There's no way that Manny Diaz can convince me that Taylor wasn't ready week 1 after what I've seen already. No way in hell.
No, I'll take it a step further. I think he's easily one of our 3 best D tackles. Might even be top 2. You feel me? And with Jared Harrison Hunt not playing today, how do you not play him almost the whole game? I don't understand. Jared Harrison Hunt is arguably our best D tackle. LT could have filled in for him. Honestly, man, it's too many times we have to say this, where we ask, what is the coaching staff doing? If you have to ask that consistently, it's a problem, man. There ain't nothing you could do about it. Until they try and change something, it's going to be the same old thing.
Yeah.